But
I love it.
but yeah. Anyway, yeah. With that, no, we should talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit in the next segment because I'm surprised you haven't heard about that. I feel like you'd be ranting and railing about that. All right, we're coming up on a break, guys. Thanks so much for being with us today on Radio Free New York. We'll be back in just a few moments.
More than twice the power.
WYSL.
More power. 92.1, FM 95.5 West and 1040 AM.
Is your video upload working now?
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll have partly cloudy skies out there. A little chill in the air. We'll be in the single digits and teens on Saturday. A little bit of sunshine. Just a few clouds coming in late in the day, but a bit milder after a cold morning. We'll actually get near 30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we weren't doing anything here. You mean on your end?
But it will turn a bit overcast. Will be the chance for a rain or snow shower in the afternoon. I'm Rich Cadilia on WYSL.
It's a great time to shop at Victor Chevrolet. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Winter driving is safe and fun in a 2020 Equinox front-wheel drive LS. Just $129 a month for 24 months. Has backup camera, power windows and locks, Bluetooth and more. MSRP $27,495. Residual $19,521. Requires non-GM lease and household. Or enjoy the security of a tough and roomy 2020 Silverado double cab 4x4 custom pickup for only $159 a month for 24 months. Remote start, 20-inch bright aluminum wheels, and trailer package. MSRP $41,385. Residual $28,777. Prior courtesy vehicle. Must have current 2015 or newer Silverado or Sierra lease through GM Financial in-house. Lease a thrifty 2020 Chevy Trax LS all-wheel drive for just $109 a month for 24 months. Includes tint and cruise package. MSRP $24,290. Residual $15,546. Must have any current lease in household. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, and DMV fees are all due at signing on all leases. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet. Route 96 in Victor. Visit VictorChevrolet.com.
On Thursday, February 6th, a racially diverse coalition of pastors sounded the alarm that abortion is strangling the black community. Reverend William Gillison of Mount Olive Baptist Church said 59 black babies are aborted for every 100 born in Buffalo. The black community is no longer replacing itself. The coalition announced the launch of a televised awareness-raising campaign targeting Buffalo's minority population during Black History Month. The 30-second ad is hard-hitting, demonstrating how abortion disproportionately impacts the black community, with black babies being 5 times more likely to be aborted than white babies nationwide. The ad insinuates that the racial disparity is by design, quoting abortion giant Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger as saying, "There is no doubt that procreation of this group should be stopped." This Real Abortion News Update is sponsored by Compass Care. For a full transcript, go to realabortionnews.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Ah, those moments in life when things are just a little too close.
Like the time you tried to pet your neighbor's angry dog. Uh-oh, down boy.
Let's face it, sometimes close is too close. Unless we're talking about the closest gaming action around at nearby Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack. With over 1,100 gaming machines, thoroughbred racing, a delicious buffet, and live entertainment, the action at Finger Lakes is always close by. Visit us on Route 96 Farmington and FingerLakesGaming.com. Must be 18 to play video gaming machines.
Want to be inspired and challenged? Join Rochester's Businessmen's Fellowship. BMF unites Christian men in faith and fellowship in a way that encourages and challenges them to be ambassadors in the marketplace. Meet Gary Passero and John Furtari as they lead the monthly 1-hour challenge on every first Thursday of the month at Passero Associates, 242 West Main Street,
Last spot.
a.m. sharp. You'll be encouraged, inspired, and challenged. Come join us the first Thursday of the month.
Radio Free New York. Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us here today on Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson in for today, and Sean Phelan, Age of Chaos, is also in. And we were talking about mandatory voting. Well, I do want to hit the one point though that you had made, that you thought this would be good for third parties. That you thought if we have mandatory voting, it would end up raising the votes of third. So tell me why.
I think because people would be disenfranchised with, in other words, there wasn't. If they're registered Democrat or Republican, and there wasn't a good enough candidate for them to come out and even vote. Now, if they're forced to vote, they might just turn around and go, you know what, Democrat, Republican, I don't like either of these guys. I'm going to give my vote to the third party.
Maybe. I mean, I could hope so, but I think that what the
wishful
challenge,
thinking. Right.
You know? Wishful thinking. It's good. What I worry would happen is that they would get in and be like, well, I'm Republican, so I got to vote Republican. That's how it works, right? Like, and I swear, I've heard that on trail. You've heard that before. Like, I've been knocked. Yeah, and not even in a sense of like, I want to support them because I'm loyal to the Republican Party. They think they have to. And again, PSA for anyone listening, and I'm sure the listeners of Radio Free New York know this, but I've run into many people while knocking on doors who don't go and vote in every election. They're like, oh, well, I can't vote for you. I'm a libertarian. I'm like, or I'm not a libertarian. I'm like, no, we can take votes from anyone. And they're like, no, I'm a registered Democrat or I'm a registered Republican, so I have to vote on that line. I'm like, no, you don't have to, right? I'm like, no, you're not allowed to vote for another party. I'm like, no, like literally you are. Yeah, you're able to vote for whoever you want. Right. I'm not sure who told you that. And it's really frustrating to run into low information voters like that who don't understand how that system works. And I think if you have mandatory voting in a place like California, what you'll end up with is a lot of voters who are, again, they don't understand how the system works. They think they have to vote for a Republican or Democrat, or even if they don't think they have to vote for them, they will vote for them because that's what they're more comfortable with. They'll be like, well, my parents always voted Democrat, so I'm going to vote Democrat too, so that's fine. Or my parents always voted Republican, so I guess I'll vote Republican too. And I worry that people just aren't going to know, like, well, I don't even know what libertarian is. I don't know what the Green Party are. Maybe they kind of know what the Green Party is. I don't. Right. But I don't know. I mean, that could be a situation where it's like they would rather go with something they sort of understand what it is, and their friends vote this way or their parents vote this way, and something like Libertarian Party, well, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know what that means.
I can say that I've run into this full force while petitioning in my own neighborhood where people would say, no, I vote Democrat. And I'm like, well, why? And they go, because I've always voted Democrat. And I'm thinking, like, nothing's gotten better in the city, for the past 20, 30 years, voting Democrat. And you're going to do it again? Yeah. And they just don't care. It's like,
and that's a whole other hurdle to come over too. But a lot of people they think that way. It's like, well, that's what their team is. So
I was watching this movie Long Shot.
All right.
I think it was called Long Shot or something, and it was about this guy. I forget his name. He's a comedian, and he falls in love with this woman who's like they knew from high school, and she's the Secretary of State, and she's going to run for president and everything. And at one point, he's talking with his friend who's African American, and they're talking politics, and he's like, oh, stick your Republicans, blah, 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 blah. And he's just totally trashing Republicans. And the the black guy kind of shocks him by saying, like, I'm actually a Democrat. I'm actually a Republican.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, wait a minute, no, but you're black. You're supposed to be a Democrat. And it was like, wow, that was very presumptuous of his character to say something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's something that certainly happens, which is interesting. And we get that for members of the Libertarian Party, too, is that people are like, oh, what do you mean? And then he'll try to explain to them, like, what they should believe, and it ends up being really condescending, and, it's not good. But, I guess just kind of wrapping up the voting thing, I think what's going to end up happening is if they do make mandatory voting, two things are going to happen. One is that if people comply with the law, they're just going to, show up and write in joke candidates or just default back to the Republicans and Democrats.
Mickey Mouse is going to get a lot of votes.
Yeah, suddenly Peter Parker is going to be elected a state assemblyman in California. And I don't mean Tom Holland. I mean actually Peter Parker, the Spider-Man.
My German friend keeps telling me to get a libertarian to dress up as Iron Man and have him run. I'm like, we got Vermin Supreme.
Yeah,
it's
no,
bad enough.
we got our guy who's playing a character. Like that
exactly.
niche is filled.
He's like,
get
Penn Jillette and some Iron Man outfit, and if you can get Penn Jillette in the Iron Man outfit, then that's even better. I'm like, I don't know about that.
But anyway, I think the other thing that'll happen too is that people will they get hurt by it, right? Like they'll end up getting, like, if there's some sort of fine imposed for not voting, like, then that's just going to put an extra burden on a family. And again, I think you have a right to not show up and vote. Like if that's your choice, and especially, and I think that is sometimes the better decision. Like if you really don't know what you're voting for, like, honestly, stay home. Do some research on it and understand what you're voting for. It bugs the heck out of me when I hear people say, like, I went and voted today. Aren't you proud of that, Kevin? I'm like, well, what'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? Well, I don't know, but I voted. Aren't you glad I voted? I'm like, you don't know what you voted for? No. Okay, that's a terrible thing, man. Like, what do you could have voted for, like, fascists? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. And I mean, conversely, it's also like, what happens if you're like 89 years old and you got the flu?
Yeah, right.
What,
like you can't. Yeah, if you're sick, right? Like,
I mean,
are you gonna still have to show up for that?
That's what I need. I need a bunch of sick people, coronavirusing on the pen that everybody uses to, mark in the ballot. It's like the marker.
Don't want any part of that. Now we got like maybe a couple minutes left to talk about the socialism thing, the new Trump socialism, and it's that the U.S. could take controlling stake in Ericsson and Nokia. And he was, again, this is to combat like Huawei's like kind of emergence as a 5G provider in Europe and in the United States, although there's sort of restrictions on that right now. And what he says is that either through American ownership of a controlling stake, either directly or through a consortium of private American and allied companies, they want to take control of that and then put our large market and financial muscle behind one or both of these firms would make it far more formidable competitor and eliminate concerns over its staying power or their staying power if they did both. And so again, what he's suggesting is that the private companies that exist right now, all the various providers can't do things on their own. They need a big influx of U.S. capital to be able to compete with Huawei. But what he's saying is that he's advocating for state ownership. And I can't imagine any system in which the U.S. government or any of these other countries, or like European countries, because these aren't American companies either, but any number of countries having a controlling stake in private companies that need to move quickly and adapt to changing situations is going to be a good thing. They're going to fall behind further.
Oh, I'm looking way more into this than that. I'm looking at this as like, if the state owns the telecommunications company, then the state doesn't need permission to listen to our calls.
Well, I mean, they already don't ask permission now, man.
I know.
I was part of the whole Restore to Fourth thing way back when.
I do have hope that we're going to get that repealed, at some point. But
well, I mean, they need a warrant right now. So, like, the point is the government can listen to your calls. They're supposed to get a warrant. Like, they could be like an FBI warrant or a FISA warrant, which is like if you're communicating with a foreign individual.
My point simply is if they own the company, they're not going to need it.
Yeah, there's even less barrier to that now.
They could just listen. And sell off the information, or even worse,
maybe
use it for political gains against their competitors.
Well, sure. I mean, and this would be, I mean,
Not
again,
like Trump wouldn't do something
so,
like that.
so there's the civil liberties concerns that you brought up, which I didn't really think about. And again, there's the economic concerns. I don't think that the U.S. government should be in the business of owning companies. I think that leads us down a pretty dangerous path. And, you know, it's pretty strange for President Trump to warn us about the dangers of socialism when he has his attorney general out there advocating for seizing the means of ownership and production in these telecommunications firms. Like, no, I again, if we want to stop socialism, great. You know, I agree with that. I'm on board. But like, what's happening here is just the opposite of that. You're you know, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
The only business that the government should be involved in is making the government smaller and more efficient. They shouldn't be in any other business than that.
No, I agree, absolutely. So yeah, that's.
Are we getting comments?
No, I was looking at and seeing if we were getting comments, so I'm just checking it out. Mostly on the mandatory voting thing is no. It's a lot of Mary Skelly says no, James says no, LOL.
I like what Joseph said.
Yeah, nothing should be mandatory. They willingly give up their right if they do not partake.
Nope, the next one.
Oh, that one. We get people to vote libertarian through education and through simple comparisons. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And if we ever move to a popular vote, yes, it should be compulsory. So we have a contrary opinion. All right, yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear more about that. I don't really think it should be mandatory in any election.
Sam, you're crazy. You're a lunatic, Sam. Unbelievable.
No, thank you, Sam, for making your comment. Yeah, I don't quite agree with that. And I'm not sure I'm sold on a popular vote system nationwide too. And Andrew did a nice show on it yesterday. I think that's when he was talking about that. So it's definitely worth a listen and thinking about some of the issues associated with a national popular vote. And I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it, but I also don't like that. I think Western New York is underrepresented in the Electoral College. So that's my asterisk on that there. All right, so we are heading to a new break, and we'll be back in the final segment for Fake News Friday. Yeah, all right. We'll be back in just a few.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Human trafficking is when someone is being forced, tricked, or coerced to engage in a sex trade or forced labor. If you're a kid and forced to sell sex, drugs, or work against your will, that's trafficking. You're not a criminal, and there is help available. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888 or text Be Free. Sponsored by the Livingston County Safe Harbors Human Trafficking Task Force.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, it's Fake News Friday. Oh, I gotta take my mic off mute. That's
It's
important.
Fake Mike Friday.
Fake Mike Friday. No, it is Fake News Friday, everyone. It is the segment we do at our last segment every Friday, where we try to stump each other with articles and discuss whether or not it is fake news. So I'll go first, and
Please do.
I'm sure you know the answer to this one because it's been around a bit. But did Joe Biden call a young woman a lying dog-faced pony soldier at a rally in New Hampshire?
He absolutely did, and he's been known to do this too, and just fly off the handle at people. And I've seen a whole video of this, and him, flying off the handle at people, and I've seen voters get up and getting like up close to him, and having a differing opinion, and he'll actually like start punching the person in the chest as he's
he
talking to
did
them.
that with some guy out in Iowa.
Yeah, it's like,
whatever.
dude, don't put your hands on anybody.
So apparently this interaction, like, it wasn't from people who were there, like, it didn't actually seem like mean spirited. Like the woman like clearly knew he was joking, because he was asked about his performance in Iowa, where he got like what, 5th place, 4th place, something like that. I'm forgetting now. Whatever it is, in the unconfirmed results, and he ended up doing pretty poorly in New Hampshire too. But in New Hampshire, someone asked him, like, saying that they were concerned about his performance in the previous state. So he's like, "Oh well, you lying dog-faced pony soldier," and apparently like people knew he was joking, but it's still just like a bizarre
People knew
insult.
he was joking.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was joking at all.
People in the well, you weren't there. Were you there? Were you there in New Hampshire?
The woman didn't look like she thought it was funny.
Yeah, but no, apparently, like, it's like he meant it in jest, like that was his tone. Like, he wasn't trying to be aggressive.
Oh no,
and he was just trying to be funny.
it as quite aggressive. I got it as like
no. I mean, I watched the video. Like, it was reported as really aggressive, and I'm not like a Joe Biden like fan or anything. I think he's like a weird old guy, like who
touchy old guy.
Yeah, like I think I think he's going off that theme. Like, I think he's out of touch, right? I think he's. I
think a lot of politicians are out of touch.
Right, and I don't like his policy positions. I think he is off-putting because he says strange things like this. Like he just says like these weird old like phrases that he says he got it from a movie, but like there's not really any evidence of that.
Yeah, I've never.
So it's just a strange thing. It's just like what is happening? What's Again, it's one of those things, like, if I saw that, I would assume that it came out of the Vermin Supreme camp. Man, we've given Vermin a lot of attention today, like way too much attention. But I would have assumed it came out of his camp, that he had called Joe Biden
I
that.
would have assumed that he would have said it to somebody who was a Vermin Supreme supporter.
Yeah.
That you're a dog-faced pony soldier.
Yeah, right. There we go. See, that would be an appropriate insult for a Vermin Supreme supporter, I think.
But the thing is, I think the Vermin Supreme
the
person...
The dog-face thing's a little bit harsh.
Outside of the lying, I think the person would take that as a compliment, and, if they were a Vermin Supreme supporter. Yes, I am a pony soldier.
Yeah, I find it hilarious. All right, you have something else for me?
Oh, yeah. Florida man.
Okay.
Florida man was arrested after driving his van into a GOP voter registration tent outside of a mall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was true. That is real news.
That incident occurred outside a shopping mall in Jacksonville, Florida, where the driver narrowly missed several people in the tent and fled the scene. His response to the police was, well, somebody's got to do something.
Yikes.
I mean, I am not a fan of Trump supporters. I think if you're a Trump supporter, you're just really not delving into... You're not doing any of the research. You're just not doing the research. But
all right, so remember to direct your angry emails at WYSL or contact at radiofreenewyork.com.
I'm entitled to my opinions.
All right.
Send them to me, Sean. But no, I think if you're a Trump supporter, you're just not paying attention to the details. You're taking your information from a chronic liar and he's telling you what you want to hear. But if you research the information that he says to you, you find out it doesn't hold water. Now, does that warrant driving into a voter registration tent that's run by the GOP? No, absolutely not. I mean, put your van out in front of the place and crank some heavy metal music or something that they don't like, I mean, do something like that, but not.
There are ways to register your opinion without resorting to violence. Although related to that is, and no one got hurt in this, luckily. But, which is good.
Thank goodness.
Related to that is, here's another headline I saw. CNN reports that GOP tent runs directly into van.
Yeah.
So is that real news or fake news?
It's tough to say,
No, that one's. I think that was a Babylon Bee headline. I didn't have that one queued up for today, but it's just since you did that story, I was like, well,
I jumped ahead of you there.
Yeah, it was a good one. So I do have another one. A story coming out of Illinois. Apparently, is there an Illinois state legislature that is floating a bill to prohibit pumping your own gas?
I would say yes, because it is illegal in New Jersey to do so.
And Oregon, too.
And Oregon. Yeah, well, I know somebody from Oregon. I wouldn't trust him. So, yeah. But no, I remember having to get gas in New Jersey once because I was working. I was living on Long Island, and I had to work in Philadelphia. And so I'd drive out there, for 5 days, then come back home for the weekend kind of thing. And I had to stop and get gas in New Jersey. And I started to pump my own gas, and the guy almost executed me for doing it. He was like,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so this legislation it is true again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a state rep named Camille Lilly who wants to prohibit. It's called the Gas Station Attendant Act, and it would prohibit you from pumping your own gas. And, this is one of those things where people kind of talk about it as a safety thing or as a preserving jobs thing or whatever it's going to be. But in Oregon and New Jersey, where it's illegal right now, I don't get why those two states still have it. It is the dumbest law. I don't understand. You are, as us New Yorkers know, you are perfectly capable of pumping your own gas.
Hold on. I will explain why this is the case. Because as a kid, my neighbor had a gas station, and my father would go to visit him and hang out and drink beers and give us absolutely nothing to do. So I would go and pump gas to get tips, okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Back in the day, the pumps did not, the nozzles did not have that little circular screw thing on it, to kind of give it grip to hold on to the receptacle where you would put where the gas cap attaches.
Yeah.
So, so that would just slide right out. It would pour out. Also, they didn't have the automatic stops, which I still don't know how that works, but suddenly it's full and that's it. It just shuts it right off.
Right.
So
yeah,
So, you had to know what you were doing back in the day because you didn't have the old pumps that, if you've seen really, really old pumps that would have the glass at the top and it fills first. You say you want 5 gallons, it fills 5 gallons, it shows you 5 gallons.
Yeah.
And then it pours down and gravity feeds it into your vehicle. Well, once they did away with that, how did you know you were getting the right amount? So you'd have these trained professionals that would actually use the pumps. Yeah. And this is some ancient throwback to those days, Well,
right. And again, they created these laws to A, preserve safety, and B, save jobs, right? It becomes a job thing. And every time these laws come up for repeal in these other states, people talk about, think of all the service attendant jobs that are going to go out. Right. And again, to me, that argument doesn't hold water. You can have full service stations, and there are full service stations in New York, right?
I've rarely seen them anymore.
There's one in the Utica Rome area where I live. There's also one on the reservation too. If you go there,
so really remote areas. Huh?
Yeah, right. but there's a few of these places, and people are like, man, it's 20 below out. I do not want to get out of my car, or maybe you're elderly, and it's kind of a bit more of a hassle to get out of your car. And sometimes full service stations make sense, and some people want to seek those out, and that's fine. And again, we live in a free society. If that's what you want, great, go do it.
Like today, I mean, a service attendant would be making a massive mountain tips, being able.
And Bob,
today?
Our producer, saying there's one in Avon. No, apparently
there is.
Yeah. Oh, who knew? All right. Well, thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We are out of time for the day, but thanks again. We will be back, or more likely, Andrew will be back on Monday.
Yep.